Next, we've got a V-notch. I've seen the V-notch used for a couple different projects, one of them being the buck saw from scratch, in which case you have V's cut into your upright posts, and then you would have wedges that would fit into these, which would provide for the leverage for when you had the windlass that would tighten it up. It's also another place that you could put cordage if you needed to lock cordage in, if you needed to just have some kind of mechanical stay for having a piece of wood lay across. Again, it's just another notch just to practice, and has multiple uses throughout bushcraft. Now how you make it? You guessed it. Start with a stop cut. We'll just put it right about there. Take our baton, tap it. As you can see, we're about halfway through the wood. And much like the saddle cut, now instead of going in and twisting your knife, we are just going to go straight in at an angle. And these are just going to be little cuts, guys, little at a time. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how you keep that nice. So it's kind of like making a 7 notch right now, or an L7, because you want that nice hard angle there. So you can see how that would be starting off like your L7 notch, except now we're going to turn it around and we're going to come at it again at this angle, doing the same thing. Just nice, controlled. Easy cuts right on into the wood. And just that simple. Now you've got your V-notch. Put a small V-notch in the whole circumference of the stick, and you got a great place to put your cordage. I use this particular notch right here as a way of keeping cordage from slipping. I use it on places like this here toggle, and it just keeps cordage sitting right there. It's not going to slip this way, it's not going to slip that way, it's going to sit right here nice and firmly in this little notch. Also use it in trap triggers. So if you have your L7, that right there goes into the ground like that. Your corresponding 7 notch goes just like that. And up here is where you would tie the cordage, and it makes it for a really nice secure place to hold the cordage so it doesn't not slip. Okay, so to make this, we're gonna do a stop cut again, and it's almost gonna be like the V-notch that we did earlier, except we're gonna go all the way around, and it's not gonna be anywhere near that deep or that wide. I've got this couple rough spots here in the wood where some branches were growing out, so I'm gonna skip down here, and it's almost like I'm just going to kind of roll the knife along the branch here, like that. Like I said, guys, we are not going tremendously deep. We are just going to make a little place for cordage to have a home. So, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of an inch back. And we're just going to cut a V. Roll it around a little bit, 1/4 an inch, cut a V. Roll it back a little, 1/4 of an inch, cut a V. Roll it back 1/4 of an inch, cut a V. We're just going to do this all the way around. Flip it around, and again, it's just like making the V-notch. Now we're going to come at it this way. 1/4 of an inch, cut a V. right into it until those two V's happen to meet at the bottom of the valley. When it's all said and done, just go through, clean it up a little bit. Make it look professional. And now you got a nice place where your cordage will sit and is not going to go anywhere. The pot hanger notch. The pot hanger notch, used in camp kitchens all over the woodlands. Very important feature of this is this undercut right here. See how the point comes out and you got that undercut? That's pretty important. So let's show you how to make this. Okay, we're going to make some stop cuts, but this time we're not going to make them at 90-degree angles. We're going to make an X. So there. And then just like that, make a nice deep cut there. What that leaves us with is that nice X in the wood. So if this is going to be your part we're going to save up here, we're going to cut all of this away down here, leaving just that. So just like if you're doing your L7 again, you're just going to cut right up into that, and you'll see it's starting to form a little bit there. So now you've got your point. We're just going to clean this up. Deepen it a little bit. Now we've got it pretty deep. Now we want to create so that we get that nice undercut in there. And to do that, we're just going to take and cut it away. Just like that. So now you can see it comes down to a point, and then the point actually dives back into the wood, and that helps hold the pot hanger in place. It also, if you hung it the other way, if you hung it upside down, you could actually put a bail hook in here, and it does not allow the bail from your bush pot or your cup to come unhinged and fall into the fire, which will ruin a day of camping. And also, with a little bit of work, if you were going to take some off of here, this right here becomes the point for an addle if you were going to make an addle handle. So the dart would actually fit right there into that point. Another great notch is a mortise and tenon. Now, putting a square or at least an oval-ish bigger hole in a piece of wood, that's what we like to call a mortise or an tenon. This is the mortise section of that joint, and it is very similar to when we did this right back here. It is very similar to what we did right here, which is we have to thin out the wood enough to be able to put a hole into it with just your knife. So instead of doing it with saddle notches, we're going to do it with two square notches like we did here. We're going to put them back to back, and then we're going to take it out of the center. So to start your mortise, make a stop cut. Again, we do not want to go halfway through with these ones. We want to go just a little bit through. That might even be a little bit too much. Move over here, and you also have to make sure that you leave enough room in here to get your knife in when you're trying to do your carving. So you want to make sure that you have enough room there. So we're going to come out to right about here. Make a nice stop cut, and then we'll carve this part out a little bit so you can see. The reason I'm doing that is so you can see where the stop cuts are, there and there. So when I roll this over, I want to try to keep the stop cuts in the same spot. Meaning I don't want to have a stop cut here and here on one side and then go here and here on the other side. There's one. There's another. And we're just going to go ahead and take and reduce this material in here with nice controlled, easy strokes of the blade. Just taking off a little bit of wood at a time. Don't have to hog off tons and tons of wood. So when you're doing this too, take a look at the sides, and you can see you want to try to keep these square if possible. It just looks nicer and neater if you're into the aesthetics of doing things, and it also kind of shows that you're a craftsperson, you're a craftsman, that you care about what it looks like, and it just kind of shows your skill level a little bit. So we've reduced this a little bit. Now we're going to see if we can drive our knife blade through to the other side. And this, I cannot stress being safe. So just nice, light, and controlled. We're just taking the tip and we're just running it in the same line. We're making the line deeper and deeper every single time. We're not trying to take out too much. We're not trying to make it in one cut. These things take a little bit of time. And just go easy and slow and controlled. So you can see the line right there. So we're going to do the same thing right here. And you see I'm using my thumb as a lever to provide a little bit of leverage, and working my knife back and forth, just making that a little bit deeper every single time. And then once I get it in there a little bit, you can start popping some of those fibers loose. Which then allows you, after you get some fibers loose, gives you some more leeway to go a little bit deeper. Now we've worked it through a little bit on one side. Let's see if we can meet it in the center by working it through on this side. Using the same technique, Erg. Nice and controlled. So now we are through. This notch right here, guys, will take you by far the longest to make, and just be safe with this one. This one I think is probably one of the most dangerous ones to make, just because you're at awkward angles a little bit. And that's how you cut a rectangular-ish hole into your branch for your notch. So if you wanted to make a handle, you could do that, insert, which is now your tenon, into your mortise, and you would have a way of turning an axle. Let's just make a point. Another great, well, it's not even really called a notch, I would say, but another great thing to practice would be a point. Now, points can be used for a lot of different things. They can be used for, like on here, a tent stake. This would be the end that goes into the ground. This could be used for making frog gigs. You would make 4 of these for a frog gig. Could also be used for just an improvised weapon, period. Any addle darts, anything along those lines. And they can also be fire hardened to make these a little bit more durable. But let's get into how to make them. So there's no stop cuts in this one, but we're going to come back, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches or so from the end of the piece of wood, and we're going to try to keep things square. So we're tapering from the full thickness, and we're just going to keep on tapering it down, but we're going to do it in a square way. So that's after a pass on that side and a pass on that side. You can see it's kind of square. We're going to do the same thing right here. Just take a couple of bites out of it, flip it around, do the same thing here, take a couple of bites out of it. Now, instead of coming all the way back here and working it down, now we're going to move up a little bit here, and we'll start taking some more off, still keeping it square. If you want to just turn it 90 degrees, take a little bit more off, come here, take a little bit more off, come here, take a little bit more off. Now we've gone 2 passes on each of the 4 sides, and that's what we are left with. Not a complete and total point, but as you can see, it's pretty close. Now we've got all these squares, all these hard angles. We just come back through with the tip of our knife and just soften them up a little bit. Just take a little bit off. And now you've got a very usable point on the end of a stick. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. The whole series on this tri-stick and all these different notches is for you to understand how to use green wood to make your life simpler out in the woods. And you don't have to haul stuff in if you can make it from what Mother Nature provides you out here. So I hope that the camera angles, and I hope that the explanations and everything really resonates with you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, you know the deal. Throw them in the comments. I answer each and every one of them personally. I look forward to communicating with all of you guys. And I can't tell you enough how humbled I am with every single video, how many people do say, hey, great this, great that, work on this, work on that. So thank you very much for all your support and all your criticism. It makes me better at doing this and sharing knowledge. And let's not forget, I get to pick up some tips from you guys as well. Guys, do me a favor, visit me out there on my social media. I'm on Facebook, Bombproof Bushcraft. I'm on Instagram, Bombproof_Bushcraft. That's Bombproof_Bushcraft. And I do a lot of stuff there that you never see me do here. Also, join me, of course, here on YouTube. Share it, like it, comment, tell your friends about me, and visit me every Friday night. I do a live stream from a group on Facebook called Bushcraft Survival Primitive Skills, Mickey Wilson. I'll put that link down in the description. But every single week, 8 o'clock on Friday, I get together and you guys can join me and we talk about bushcraftery and all kinds of fun stuff. Hey guys, don't forget to visit me, www.bombproofbushcraft.com. That's right. It's got most of the stuff that I use right here in camp, and I'm always adding to the selection of stuff that I carry on the website. So visit me there, support me everywhere else. And guys, like I said before, very humbled by everything that you guys do to support me. So thank you very much. With all that being said, guys, I've got food I'm gonna cook. I've got things I gotta do. I got more videos to shoot, and well, you know, always something going on. So until next time, guys, get out of the inside and into the outside. Take care. Come on down to Bombproof Bushcraft. You want blankets? We got blankets. You want knives? We've got knives. You want hatchets? We've got hatchets. You want doodads, whatnots, thingamajigs, whatchamacallits, trinkets? We've got those too. If we ain't got it, you can't buy it from us. And that's a guarantee. Come on down to Bombproof Bushcraft. Come on down to Bombproof Bushcraft. Come on down to Bombproof Bushcraft. And have yourself a time. BombproofBushcraft.com. That's where you need to be.